Hey guys, welcome back to RPO Restorations. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube lately about the decline in quality of aftermarket parts, especially for these older vehicles because it's just not profitable to make them anymore. And, for a while I watched and I thought it really didn't apply to me because 9 times out of 10, I use OE stuff, either stuff straight from General Motors or AC Delco. Well, I'm starting to think that this wave of inferior quality is starting to hit them as well. And in today's video, I'm going to explain why. Stay tuned. So a little while back, I decided I was going to swap out my distributor. Not that there was really too much wrong with the old distributor, except for the fact that the screw holes for the distributor cap were stripped out. And I think it was a brand, it was like Chinesium or something like that. So I called my local dealer and buy a GM remanufactured one. Drop it in, great, it's clocked up right, I reconnect it, go to start the truck, just cranks and cranks and cranks. So first thing I'm thinking is, as most home mechanics do, must be something I did wrong. So I get back under the hood, recheck all the connections, everything's good, the distributor's clocked generally where it should be. Should at least be kicking over or something like that. Nope, cranks and cranks and cranks. So at that point, I break out the service manual, start working my way down the trouble tree for a crank no start condition. Hook up my little ST125 spark tester, no spark at all. So I start working my way through the trouble tree and it leads me to a bad ignition control module. Now keep in mind, this is a remanufactured part, and I understand that generally you're not going to get the same quality that you would get with a new part. However, this is all GM had available. But saying that, generally I assume to get about at least half of the useful life out of a remanufactured part, especially one done by the factory, that you would get out of a new part. So, pull the cap off, pull the rotor off, take out the ignition control module, and do a quick run to AutoZone to pick up a new one. Do I like Duralast? I'll just say it's good in a pinch. Throw in the new one, truck cranks right over, starts right up, no problem. Set the timing was only 2 degrees off, and I figure I'm done. Nope, not exactly. So as the truck warms up and I get to where I'm going, I notice that I'm starting to get a surge and the tachometer needle is going crazy every once in a while. It almost stalls out to the point where I got to pop it in neutral just to keep from stalling out of the light. Get home the next day, pop the hood again, start looking around. It almost felt like a vacuum leak that was only starting at certain times. I would start to see the tachometer needle bouncing back and forth and the truck felt like it was going to stall out. Check all the vacuum lines. I'm thinking maybe there's a solenoid that only activates at idle or something like that and the vacuum hose is loose or cracked. Nope, all the vacuum lines are good. Bust out my Tech 1 scan tool, do a little road test, and after the truck's warmed up, I get to a light, it starts to idle, and the RPMs just go crazy from 750 all the way up to 2,000, up to 2,400, back down to 500, up to 3,000, and so forth. And that doesn't make sense. So then I kind of listen to it and figure, well, the truck's or the engine computer is trying to compensate for fuel because it sees the tachometer going crazy. Turns out it was the second ignition control module's fault. Finally, I just got fed up, pulled the old one out of the distributor I just replaced and changed it out. No problems. So I got a GM remanufactured distributor with a bad ignition control module right out of the gate. Okay, I can understand that. Things happen, things get missed. Some of these parts are so old, you test them, put them on a car, and within 5 seconds they break down. Okay, I can live with that. Then 2 days later, I have another GM remanufactured part that I get a problem with. So a few days later, I'm out running a few errands, get to my last stop, and I start to hear this loud rattle coming from under the hood. Almost sounds to me like the fan is loose and just flopping around on the pulley. I pop the hood, take a look. Everything looks like it should. Nothing wrong. So I run my last errand, about 2 miles from home, start driving back. As I'm driving back, it just gets worse and worse and worse. So I get back into the garage, start poking under the hood, can't find anything wrong. Then I take the accessory drive belt off, take a look at the alternator, and I find this. The pulley has worked itself loose and the alternator fan is rattling around. Keep in mind, this is a GM remanufactured alternator. It's probably got less than 10,000 miles on it. This is my second GM remanufactured parts fail in the same week. And to round everything out, a little while ago, I changed out the braking system on this Blazer, replaced the master cylinder, found a used working Kelsey Hayes anti-lock braking unit, or BPMV, to install, replaced all the lines, new pads, rotors, wheel cylinders in the back, the whole thing, shoes, you name it. This is now the second brand new AC Delco master cylinder I'm on. The first one was weeping so bad below the reservoir, I felt it would be best to replace it. So I replaced it with a brand new one that I bought from a dealership. Had to rebleed the entire braking system, and now here we are about 6 months later, and the second brand new one is weeping. So that's my tale of woe with these remanufactured General Motors and new AC Delco parts. And I just wanted to put this video out real quick because I know a lot of you guys are new to working on these cars, or maybe you haven't dealt with them in a long time. And a lot of times we always assume that we must have screwed something up or installed something wrong or did something improperly while we're working on a certain system. And now that may not be the case, because right out of the box, you might have a bad part and it's going to throw everything out of whack. So do better, GM, and do better, AC Delco. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you on the next one.